Ladies and gents, boys and girls, Friday, March the 31st, 2023. Hope you're all doing well. Chris Phillips here, your host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. Appreciate you all tuning in. We got a lot to dive into, a lot to discuss. And of course, as always, we are taking your questions, your comments, and your calls as well. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. I see Brendan M., John Edward, my guy GA, Xavier, Travi, Electric Prods, Todd Smith, Jeremy Wardell, Justin Langford, Travi, what's going on? Also, those in the Big Cock Club Discord. Head over to the TDC Questions channel, the TDC Questions channel, to be sure your questions are answered there. Again, we have a lot to dive into, a lot to discuss, as again, it is a very, very big game day, as my friend Brendan M. points out. We've got women's basketball in the Final Four tonight. Baseball looks to clinch the series in Starkville. And it's also the final day of March, believe it or not. How about that? The final day of March. I mean, it's just crazy, man. Soak in every single day, truly, guys, because time flies, right? Time flies. We're seeing it this year. We're going into the fourth. So we're already a quarter of the way through the 2023 calendar year. Q1 is officially in the books now. How about that? Anyways, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. And of course, as always, TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go down to the Prize Picks app, go to prizepicks.com. And when you do, use the promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Guys, you can play anything and everything, college sports, pro sports, whatever you can think of. They've got it over at Prize Picks. So many fans and listeners of the show have made tons of money with our friends at Prize Picks, and you should as well. So again, go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. And when you do, use the promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Guys, really excited to chat with you all here on this Friday. TGIF indeed. Bruin Nation, what's up, my friend? Also, this is a monumental day in the history of the Spurs Up Show, if you will. And I'm sure many of you saw it on social media. 6 years ago to the date, episode number 1, right? Episode 771. 771 dropped yesterday. Episode 1 dropped on this day 6 years ago. It's crazy, man. It's wild to think about. 6 years ago today. And I posted a clip, and many of you said, who in the world is that guy? Yeah, I barely recognize him either. That was about 6 years, no beard, and about 60 or 65 pounds ago. So to say the glow up has been real since then, I would argue is putting it very, very, very lightly. And no doubt, my friend, TSUS has come a long way at the time of recording that. Just to give you all some perspective, the time of recording that, March 31st, 2017. It was Armchair, South Carolina. I had a co-host, right? That was episode 1, of course. South Carolina was in the Final Four. We were entering year 2 of the Will Muschamp era. And we had about, I would say the time that dropped, we probably had maybe 50 followers on Twitter, maybe 50 followers, literally. We had no Instagram. We had no Facebook, nothing of the sort. About 50 followers on Twitter. So it's pretty crazy, man, when you keep that perspective. And I mean, that's one of the things truly that keeps me going and drives me. And it's fun to look back. Obviously, I spend so much time being present moment and being in the moment, if you will. But when you take a moment to reflect and look back, and man, it's just really cool. Mark Ryan himself asked me, like, Chris, how did you do it? Like, how do you keep going early on when you're getting no likes? He specifically said when you're getting no likes, right? When you're getting no retweets, when you're not getting engagement. Because I tell people all the time, this is the fun part, right? When you're posting content, you're doing live shows and people are tuning in and engaging, and you have this open-ended banter that we've created. This is a lot of fun. But in the beginning, when nobody's interacting and, you just haven't built that platform, you could be putting out great content too, right? I think that's where a lot of people, they get discouraged. They craft this content and they get discouraged when they do not get a response that they are expecting, if you will. So more on that in a second. Let's jump to the phone lines here. And I just got interrupted for a spam call. Beautiful. Love that. Love that. Okay. Anyways, no, to the point though that, I think people, what happens is early on, you you put expectations on content where, and you see other people. What happens is too, is you compare your day one to people's year fives, year 10s, whatever. And so you're like, oh, my clip didn't get 1,000 views. It didn't get 5,000 views. Like, what in the world? And you can fall into that trap of doing that, right? And that's how people get discouraged, whatever. But I just look back, man. I'm like, what really kept me going? What kept me pushing? Because after 6 months of grinding, guys, on social media, on Twitter specifically, and doing shows and creating content, we went from 30 followers to just 100. And you all know, if you're on Twitter, you're on social media, you just know that in the grand scheme, like 100 followers is nothing. And so I think back, I'm like, what kept me going? And it was just simply perspective, man. And it was simply that no matter if there was one follower or there was 100,000, I had a platform and an entity to express my creativity, to express my opinion, to let my voice be heard, right? I had that yearning and that desire. I needed that. You know what I mean? I needed to have some form of expression. And I loved sports always. I've always loved sports, right? I've always loved sports. So that was my avenue to express my creativity and, found what I loved and found my passion, became grossly obsessed with it. And here we are 6 years later. So it's absolutely crazy. It's wild. It's wild. Anyways, guys, we'll get into your questions, your comments. Again, a really cool day, though. 6 years ago to the date, the podcast was born. And now we sit 771 episodes. Before you know it, we're going to be hitting 1,000. Before you know it, we're going to be hitting 1,000. Pretty crazy. Anyways, let's see here. 7-0 in SEC play. First time in school history. Unreal. Unbelievable, man. I just, what is there to say? I mean, what is there really to say? Do we need to re-roll out the Hail to the King shirts? Should we do that? We should have done Kingston Lee 23 shirts. Those would have been awesome. Those would have been awesome. I guess we could still do it, but we should have rolled those out. Those would have been great. Those would have been great. Yeah, great win last night. Listen, a little bit closer down the stretch than I think some of us would have preferred. But, you knew Mississippi State at home was going to battle, man. This is a team that a really proud program, and certainly their season and things aren't going the way they want. But, I mean, it's still Mississippi State baseball. They've still got good players. I mean, their starting pitcher last night, guys, throwing 96 miles an hour. So, it's Mississippi State, and you can go on the road and win, and you don't need to win 26-3 to make your point. Just win the ball game, and got a chance to clinch tonight with Noah Hall on the bump and their TBA. So I think you're in a pretty good position to get the job done. And then, of course, Jack Mahoney tomorrow. And, I mean, it's crazy to think, man, you can go into next weekend's LSU series at 9-0. I mean, it's just wild. I mean, you got to take care of business tonight, tomorrow first, but just unbelievable. Unbelievable what this team is doing. Let's see. Brandon says, good morning, Chris. Congrats on the success. Hope it continues for you. What do you think our chances are next weekend against LSU? Going to be a rowdy Founders. Going to be a rowdy Founders indeed. I mean, I think we've got a good chance to take 2 of 3. I'm not going to say it's obviously a guarantee or anything. I think it'll be a great series no matter what. But I think you got a great shot at home, especially to take 2 out of 3. Now, listen, battling Paul Skeens is going to be very, very tough. There's no question. Going to be very tough. The dude was sitting 99 to 100 last night. It's going to be hard. I mean, there's no question. I just wonder on the pitching side of things what they do in that game 1 spot. Do they go Eli Jones? Does Will Sanders slide back in? Mark Kingston spoke on it last night and said that he actually could come out of the bullpen this weekend, but they felt like with the short week, this was a great opportunity for Will to reset mentally, reset physically. Again, just get recalibrated, if you will. So I doubt he pitches all weekend. I don't think he pitches all weekend. I'd be surprised. But I just wonder, what do you do? Like, you're going to have someone pitch phenomenally to beat Paul Skeens. Like, it's probably not going to be an 8-7 game, right? It's probably going to be a 3-2 game at most. So you're going to have to go toe-to-toe with him. But, I mean, I think LSU, listen, they're a great ball club. Those are the teams you want to play. Like, you want to play LSU, and you got them on your home field. You couldn't ask for much more than that. So it's going to be a great weekend. Obviously, again, this weekend still going on. You got UNC on Tuesday night. But, it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun for sure. Let's see here. Lynn Turner, Kingston having a banner year. Monty Lee has proven me wrong, and I'm so glad Wingo's on staff. Yard Cox to the moon, indeed. Browdy Rooster 75 in the Discord. What do you think's going on with Wimmer? How can he get out of the hitting slump from yesterday? I just keep swinging it, Rowdy Rooster. That's it. That's it. I mean, listen, he had a bad game yesterday, and he's in a bit of a slump. But they all go through slumps, man. So I believe Braylon Wimmer. He's an older veteran guy too. Rowdy Rooster, he's an older veteran guy. You trust that Braylon Wimmer's going to get it going. You know what I mean? He's gone through slumps in his career, and he's gotten out of them every single time. So I don't really worry about Braylon Wimmer, Rowdy Rooster. I think that, he could go 4 for 4 tonight. You know what I mean? You never know. Baseball's a crazy game. Just keep swinging it out there. He's one of your best guys. I most certainly. How about Todd Smith? Thank you, Todd, for the super chat. How about that? Thank you, Todd Smith, for the super chat. You guys want to support the podcast, support the content, support the show, support everything we do, and you're on YouTube, you can do so. Super chat, super stickers. Thank you, Todd Smith. You're the man. I really do truly appreciate that. Rowdy Rooster, your hat is spectacular. Thank you. This one's cool. My guy, B2ATL. I always get comments on this hat, but I mean, why not? Look at it. Oh, this side. Yeah, you got the C back there. It's incredible. This is an incredible lid. I mean, truly, this is an incredible lid. I will say I probably should wear it more often, to be honest with you. Super dope vintage lid. Let's see. Anyways, though. Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things. Wimmer will get it going. You trust that a veteran guy will get it going. My guy, GA, asked, how was downtown last night? It was solid. It was solid, GA. I think that, it wasn't our biggest crowd downtown Greenville. And I think because of just how many events we're throwing downtown. Actually, had a guy tell me last night that, he ran into a Gamecock fan that was like, yeah, I was thinking about going to the TSUS thing tonight, but I'm actually going to save it and go to Woodruff Road tomorrow for the Final Four. So I think we're just throwing a lot of events in the upstate right now, which is a good thing, but also the scarcity is what makes these events, really fun to come out to and makes people want to come to. So guys, again, I think I told you yesterday, but the plan now, it's official. It's officially official. The plan now, if and when South Carolina wins tonight, the watch party for the national championship. I know I said Woodruff Road. It will actually now be in Columbia on Sunday. So we will have the watch party for the national title in Columbia on Sunday at the Harbison location, Carolina Ale House. Really excited, looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun. I hope all my Cola Gamecocks will come out for that. Bruin Nation. Now, here's a really intriguing question. If Dawn wins this championship this weekend, that gives her 3. Does that give her the throne over Ray Tanner? And Bruin Nation, this is a fascinating question. I think it's a fantastic question, first off. It's an awesome thing to debate because I think there is a debate. I'm going to wait till next week. Bruin Nation, bring this up again Monday after we've won the national title because I hate to get this conversation going beforehand, right, and count the chickens before they hatch, no pun intended type deal. But I think it's a great convo because I think there's a debate to be had there for multiple reasons, which I'll tell you all of next week. And I'd also love to run like a poll on Monday, get people's opinions on it. Yeah, I don't, let me just put it to you this way, Bruin Nation. I don't think it's as simple as, well, you have more national titles, therefore you have the throne over Ray Tanner. I don't think it's that simple. Ranger Ryan, how many other SEC teams have bullpens that rival ours? Not many, my friend. Not many. Let's see. Justin Lankford, what's up? Jeremy Wardell just says no. Brandon Kuhn, by April 11th, we should have Cam Pringle, Josiah Thompson, and Blake Franks committed. Yeah, Blake Franks has moved his announcement to tonight about 6:30, 6:45, something like that. Yeah, so I think we will get him, though. I think we will get him. Justin Lankford, hell yeah, Dawn should be the AD, and Ray should go back to the dugout, my guy. No, I don't think so. I mean, Justin, listen, if Ray wanted to be in the dugout, he'd be in the dugout. And they're not going to force him to go back to the dugout. And maybe let's not make coaches athletic directors anymore. How about that? I'm out on the whole Dawn Staley as AD thing. I love Dawn Staley. I'm appreciative of Dawn Staley. I'm grateful for Dawn Staley. Don't want her as my AD. Nope. How about get somebody as your AD who has, I don't know, been an AD before? How about that? Yeah, Travie. Carson Hornung was struck by a pitch in the foot against the Citadel, and he has a fracture in the foot. So I don't know. I probably wouldn't expect Carson Hornung to be much of a factor in the next couple of weeks. You know, I know Kingston was kind of trying to sound optimistic. I wouldn't expect it. So, yeah, Brandon Kuhn, I say Ethan Petry's the best freshman we've had since Christian Walker. I really believe that. He's and he might be better. And that's crazy to say because I love Christian Walker, friend of the show, by the way. 3 straight College World Series. I mean, he hit like 330 in his career, right over his 3-year career. But what Petry's doing right now? I mean, he's hit like 460, right? So we'll see where the numbers sit at the end of the season. But I mean, he's incredible. Ethan Petry is phenomenal. Let's see. Anyways, guys, 843 790 3377. That's 843 790 3377 here on this Friday. TGIF indeed. Guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Grateful for each and every single one of you. Excited for tonight, this weekend, a huge weekend for the Gamecocks, for TSUS, everything in between. So, how about Michael Braswell? Yeah. I mean, guys, we had said that, I thought he'd get a shot, should get a shot. And lo and behold, he gets a shot, and look what happens. So, look what happens. Let's see. Brewer Nation says Brad Edwards or Chance Miller will be our next AD. Why not? I mean, dude, I'd love to see Brad Edwards come back. Chris Miller, honest question. Are we an attractive enough athletic program to get a big name, experienced AD when Ray Tanner decides to hang it up? Chris Miller, let me flip the question on you. Why would South Carolina not be? What makes the Gamecocks not attractive enough? What makes South Carolina not an attractive destination, Chris Miller? Like what I don't understand what you can hold against the University of South Carolina in regards to like that argument you just made. So, my guy T-Dubs, what's up, Trip? Yeah, I saw your text, my guy. I was going to text you after the show. Congrats to you and Jess. I will give you a text after the show, obviously, but no, I appreciate you, my friend. It's pretty wild. Yeah, Trip Warwick, who just commented. And there's a couple people who have been there since the very, very, very jump. I'm talking about episode 1 before that, before TSUS ever existed. So they've seen the journey. I mean, again, there's a couple of people, a few people, family, close friends who have seen it since day one. And what a journey. What a journey it has been, truly. I mean, it's, for those people, man, the perspective that we all have is great. And it's almost kind of one of those things that makes you laugh when we sit and think that this thing actually worked out and has happened. And, I mean, I'll tell you this, guys, people ask for, excuse me, guys, people ask for like best piece of advice and stuff like that. And I would tell you this, there's really no secret to, I'll just speak to my expertise, which is content, which is sports, which is building an entity, right? There really is no secret to it, right? Like anybody, if you were to start a podcast or start your own brand new entity on social media, whether it be Gamecocks or something else, and you were to ask me, how do I do it? How do I get to your point, right? Or whatever. There's no secret. Like you've just got to be willing to create the best content possible, keep an open mind, accept feedback, and be willing to implement feedback. Don't think you have it all figured out. Don't think you're right. Remove the ego of being right and be willing to be consistent for, I'd say, at minimum, a 3 to 4 year period. At minimum, right? You have to. You just have to. It's not something where like I'm just going to blow up within 6 months. It's just not going to happen. Social media is a slow grind because when you think about it, what you're doing is you are building trust within an audience, right? At one point I wasn't viewed and TSUS wasn't looked at as the go-to entity for the Gamecocks. That's something you earn. It's not given to you. You earn that over time, because anybody can put out one good piece of content. Anybody can put out two good pieces of content, right? And these people are probably seeing that content, right? So they see one piece of content. Oh, that's cool. They're not going to follow off that first jump. Some people will, but not everybody will. Then they see another. Then they see another. Then they see another. You build up sweat equity, right? And then at some point, it's a year in, and they're like, damn, I see this dude's stuff all the time. I'm going to follow. He's really out here, right? And you just keep doing that. Like you build up goodwill, if you will, with people. There's a word that I cannot find right now for whatever reason, but you build up your brand and entity and your portfolio, if you will, and at some point, you know, you look up and you've built an entire brand and entity. So, anyways, it's a cool thing, but it's a journey. There's no question. It's a freaking journey, man. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. I mean, I did it for 2.5 years before I ever moved to Columbia to pursue it full time. And I would really say, yeah, I mean, it took 3.5 years to see any sort of a turn of profit of the business. I mean, it really did. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, and that, again, that's been my greatest advantage. One of my greatest advantages with TSUS is that there's a lot of people who want to start a podcast. There's a lot of people who want to be looked at as some big deal on social media, whatever, big deal on social media. But I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? It's like I always had the business savvy and always thought with the business mind and looked at things through monetization. You know, you can't be a business and do it full time if you're not monetized. That's something that a lot of people don't seem to grasp at times. You got to be able to monetize it. So being able to look at it through the entrepreneurial scope is something that I think has given me an advantage as well, and something I've been able to implement. I tell people, I love the content side. I love the Gamecocks, but I also love business. You know what I mean? I love being a business owner. I love being an entrepreneur. And, you know, some people can scoff at that or whatever, but you know what? You're not signing my checks. So I don't really give a damn. So you got to have that. You have to have that side. And if you don't have that side, you got to have somebody in your corner or on your team that can handle that side. Because if you don't handle that side, guess what? You're not going to be able to break out of the mold you're in and do it full time. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to change your life. So, Rowdy Rooster said, dude, your words are true. I never had an interest in following, but after seeing your stuff so much, I gave it a try. One of the best decisions I ever made. I appreciate you, my friend. You're the man. I appreciate you. Brennan M wants to point out that we got screwed over by COVID in 2020 and by the refs in 2021. We should have 4 titles right now with 3 in a row. Well, Brendan, I'll give you the COVID year. You can't really use 2021. I mean, listen, bad calls happen. Refs happen. Have we benefited from bad calls here and there? You can't put an asterisk by 2021 and say, well, we should have won. I mean, but I'll give you 2020. I'll give you 2020. And I know 2021, the whole, what was it, Stanford, right? That call. Like, I can't give you 2020. I can't do it. Babes and waves, you're the man. I appreciate you tuning in. Jacob E says, I thought that was a strike on Messina before he hit the bomb. I also thought it was a strike on the Mississippi State hitter before their bomb. Funny how it all works. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Jacob. I thought that was, that was a fortunate call. But again, hey, it's those calls, those tiny moments that make up, make up the game. And can you take advantage? And sure enough, we did. Brendan M says, you act like I'm the only one that says that. Well, Brendan, I don't care if you say it or if everybody says it. I mean, you can't put an asterisk by 2021 and say that we should have won. We didn't. I mean, we just didn't. So, I mean, I don't know. I could just asterisk you to death, Brendan. If this happens, that, I mean, it's like you said, if you take away games 2 through 13 as Zeb Nolan, blah, 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 blah. Like you didn't like my hypotheticals and my asterisks when I was talking about Spencer Rattler. So I'm not giving you the asterisk for women's basketball. And that is that. So you can't get into the hypothetical asterisk game in sports. You just can't do it. You can't do it because you'll be arguing nonsense forever if you do that. Ethan, who had the greatest freshman year of baseball ever. Petrie in 23, Walker in 10, JBJ in 09, or Smoke in 06. Admittedly, I'd have to look up what Smoke and JBJ did because I don't necessarily recall. But Petrie's most certainly up there. I mean, he's having one of the greatest freshman seasons that we've ever seen a freshman have at South Carolina. Let's jump on. Skyland, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. What a way to win a very weird ball game last night.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. State gave you a fight, but yeah, definitely feels good to win that game one.
Man, I just when you leave the bases loaded the first 2 innings, and you start getting bad vibes, and it's just and then you still find a way to scrap it out. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that I wasn't surprised. I mean, listen, Mississippi State at home, they're desperate as hell. They're desperate as hell to break that losing streak they have. Now you kind of wonder how does State respond after now they're TBA on the bump, and I don't know,
Hey,
man.
Casey,
Is their will going to be broken? I don't know. I don't know. I think the Gamecocks probably should be able to take advantage, though. Again, State's got such issues on the mound that wouldn't be surprised if South Carolina won this one big tonight.
head coach is suspended too.
Oh, head coach I forgot about that. Lemonis is suspended.
I think that last night was just a show to try to fire his team and maybe give the fans a little hope that he does care in the dugout.
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't know, I'm sure you know they hate Lemonis down there.
Yeah. I mean, I tweeted something about Lemonis and his job status, and some slapdick Gamecock fans thought I was crazy. And I was just saying that I'm not saying he should be fired, but their fan base is done with him. So I mean, I think he knows his seat is scorching right now. So
they absolutely, but and Mississippi State they've been hurt the past 2 seasons. He hasn't had the best luck either. So.
That's a good point. It's a really good point.
But I like playing on Thursday night, so I call in on Friday. I mean, we're 7-0. We have a chance to be 9-0. I'm just curious of when we see Sanders, or if we see Sanders.
Yeah. Kingston spoke on it last night. I don't know if I'm sure
I did not hear it.
Yeah, so I'll pull it up really quickly while I've got you on the line. So Kingston, he did speak on it. Of course, he was asked about it in the post game, but this is what he had to say in regards to giving Sanders the weekend off. They wanted to give him a, quote, mental and physical break. Kingston said, quote, "It was a short week. With Will, we decided the best thing for him might be a slight reset on a short week. It's a chance to get a mental break, a physical break, and to take a step back to take 3 or 4 forward. He may be used this weekend out of the bullpen, but I thought this was a good time because of the short week that he could get a little reset." So that's what he said. I would be surprised he pitches this weekend. I mean, if you really want to give him a true reset, I say just give him the whole weekend off. Like, why not?
I'm curious, does he start next Thursday night?
I don't know. I don't know, my friend. I mean, again, you're asking somebody that I don't think I would have ever made the move, but again, I'm not the head baseball coach, right? I'm not the head coach. I understand he wasn't throwing well, 9 earned runs in 10 1/3 innings pitched in SEC play, but you're right. Now you kind of sit here and, I mean, do you go Eli Jones? Do you slide Noah Hall and Mahoney up and put Sanders in game 3? If you want, it's just hard for me now to, it's hard to roll into next week looking way too far ahead and throw Sanders back in the game 1 slot. It's just hard. Right. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just tough to do that, in my opinion. I don't know, though. It's still, again, it's fascinating to see how this thing plays out.
Kudos to Michael Braswell. That's what a teammate, if you young boys are listening or watching, or you got, your parents got some young ones, you always talk about, big team, little me. There's no I in team. Michael Braswell 100% stands for that. He didn't get aggravated when his number was called on. He did what he needed to do. He did his job in the dugout. He did his job on the field, and he got a chance to start. And I'm sure he'll be in the lineup today. That's how you do big team, little me right there. Michael Braswell pitcher should be right beside the definition of a team player. Started all last season, got pulled, didn't leave, didn't get mad, didn't cuss out the coach, didn't cuss out players, wasn't salty in the dugout. But when his number was called, he produced every single time. And I'm proud of him, and we need more players like that.
Indeed. Big team, little me. I love that. I love the way you phrase that.
So that's Michael Braswell.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I think it's time to move Wimmer back to the slot he is. Some people, as a baseball player, as you, former college baseball player, you are some players aren't comfortable in situations or different roles. And I just think, Braylon Wimmer's not that leadoff guy. He's starting to struggle since we moved him. So maybe it's time to move him back to where he was so he can start hitting again.
Indeed. Indeed.
So Carson Harmon is out with a broken foot.
Mhm.
He can pitch hit if needed. Only hit. He can't really run. He can't really field. If I was the leadoff guy, this might sound stupid to a lot of fans because these two players get a lot of outs. I would go ahead and put Evan Stone or Dylan Brewer at leadoff, even though they might not hit the ball as well as others, but they see a lot of pitches, and to me the leadoff role is to see a lot of pitches at bat, and so that's what I would do. Go ahead and move one of them to leadoff, so we can see the 6-7 pitch at bats at leadoff. So I don't know how you feel about that, but that's my question to you. What would you do with leadoff since Wimmer's struggling?
Yeah, Wimmer's struggling, and again, I was asked about that early in the show. Is just how do you get him out of that slump, if you will? And I think you just trust a guy like a Braylon Wimmer. He's a veteran guy, right? That he's going to figure it out. That he'll get out of the slump. With leadoff, it is tricky. It is tricky, man. Do you go Dylan Brewer? Could Brewer be a good option? I mean, like you mentioned, maybe a Braswell could lead off.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a Braswell could lead off for you, and it's. I was surprised that again Braswell wasn't the first option when when McGillis went down. I was surprised at that. I don't know. I did like Hornung there when he was healthy, so I like Braswell. I'd like to see them give him a shot. Why not? I think Braswell's a guy that, like you said, he's big team, little me, and he's going to find a way to get on base and do what's best for the team. So, I'd say give him a shot.
If Braswell, one last question. If Braswell continues to hit, and I don't see McGillis coming back till the first week of the regionals. We're already in week 3.
Yeah.
He's out 6 weeks. He might get in that last weekend before the regionals. He might get in the SEC tournament. Who knows with him? But if he's hot and Michael Braswell is hitting the ball, how do you pull him to put McGillis back there? Or what do you do?
Yeah. That's a great question, and I would say a great problem to have, my friend. A great problem to have. So,
and I'm still curious on whenever Jacob Coppins gets back from his setback in 2 weeks, and if he hits the ball,
yeah,
what's going to happen?
I mean, you got a lot of great baseball players, my friend. So it's a great position to be in, no doubt.
That's right. Well, I just love the cockiness and the passion and the I guess the scrappiness this team has. It's been a long time since we've seen the way Chris Veach walked off, or the way Cole Messina went around the bases fired up, talking his shit. My bad, you're on air, but it's your own show.
No, it's fine.
You just been cocky and confident. It's been a while since we've seen our players cocky and confident, and I love it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love the attitude we're playing with, and hell, we should be playing confident. We're 7-0 in SEC, playing off to the best start since 1975 or something like that. So, yeah, we got a lot of reasons to feel good, and let's see if we can carry it through tonight and tomorrow.
It's like what I told my buddy last night about Lamont getting ejected. It ain't no fun when the Rabbits got the gun. You remember how his players used to be that way when he was winning?
Yeah.
And remember last year Tennessee was really confident and cocky.
It's a fact. Well stated, Skyland. All right, I don't know what just happened there, but Skyland just wrapped up his call. That was the Chris Lemonis Hackers, the Mississippi State Hackers. Not exactly sure. Anyways, guys, appreciate Skyland for the call. Great stuff. 843-790-3377. Rowdy Rooster says, at some point, Chris, does Kingston tell his guys to move away from pitches hitting them. I know you want on base, but it's cost us 2 already. I'm not blaming Kingston, but I know our guys wear that hit with pride. It's a great question, right? Because it's you love to get on base, but it's like it almost feels like we go out of our way to get hit with the amount of hit by pitches. It's absolutely crazy. I don't think you really change anything up, Rowdy Rooster. I mean, there's some times where they are trying to get out of the way. To get hit in the foot. I mean, I don't think Carson Hornung wanted to get hit in the foot. I don't know that McGillis wanted to get hit where he did, right? I mean, I don't think he's intentionally getting hit. So there's only so much you can do, and some of it's just pure bad luck, right, Rowdy Rooster? So anyways, 843-790-3337. And Austin, you're a fool. Austin, you're a fool as well, my friend. I appreciate you. You're a fool as well, my guy. 843-790-3377. Let's see. Our guy Ethan dropped these stats here. Smoke hit 303 with 17 homers and 63 RBIs in 2006. JBJ hit 349 with 11 homers and 46 RBIs in 2009. What are Christian Walker's stats? Do you have them? What are Christian Walker's? Because I tell you, the conversation of Ethan Petry, and we'll have it more so when the season's over, but this has got to rank up there one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a freshman at South Carolina. And I mean, that is saying a lot when you think of guys like Justin Smoke, like JBJ, like Christian Walker, like Grayson Griner, like the season even that a John Jones had. I know he went ice cold, but there have been some great freshmen that have come through. I'm sure there's many more before Justin Smoke, before 2006, right? But most recent memory, I mean, this has got to be one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a true freshman in recent memory, no doubt. The way that Ethan Petry, I mean, he's wise beyond his years. The approach is there. He's crushing the baseball. He's playing with a lot of confidence, playing free, and having a lot of fun. And when you combine all those things, and also you've got a guy like Petry, who's a big, strong kid, talented baseball player, you get the results of what you're seeing right now. So it's going to be a lot of fun to continue to watch his evolution, his growth, as a Gamecock and as a baseball player. And I think he's certainly going to be a guy that is going to help us win a lot of ball games over the next couple of seasons. Truly. So anyways, guys, continuing on, 843-790-3377. Again, guys, 6 years ago to the date. 6 years ago to the date. 6 years ago to the date. First episode of the podcast dropped. Incredible. What a time. What a time. It's unreal. It's truly unreal. So it's truly unreal. 6 years ago to the date. Let's see. Yeah, Braswell did play well. I'm glad that Skyland brought that up too, man, because Michael Braswell is just a guy. Michael Braswell's a guy. Every opportunity he gets, it seems like he plays well. I still love and I still laugh at the comparison. Somebody said that Michael Braswell is the DeCamerion Joyner of baseball. What a comparison. Like, what a wild comparison. But, in the sense of, as Skyland said, big team, little me, it's true. It's true. I mean, it's Braswell's a team guy. He does what's best for the team. And, it's just great to see guys like that get rewarded. I mean, he's also a great baseball player. I know that last year he wasn't great in SEC play, but the guy hit like 287 as a freshman. He wasn't Ethan Petry, but I thought he was good enough to still have a role in this ball club. And so it's been a little bit surprising. I think it's one of those unfortunate things where he just got forced out because of guys you brought in. But Travis says, maybe move Braz back to short when we're back to second until we get McGillis back. I don't think they're going to do that, Travis. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they are committed to Braylon when we're playing shortstop. They moved him to that position. He hasn't practiced at second, I don't think, probably since like last year. I mean, they moved him to short in the fall. He's been playing short, like shortstop. Travis is his position. So I don't think they'd mess with that. Braylon Wimmer is also trying to get drafted as a shortstop. So I don't see that changing up anytime soon. I don't see that changing up anytime soon. Not at all. Lynn Turner, what do you think about that Mississippi State pitcher warming up to potentially pitch from both sides? That blows my mind. He's ambidextrous. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't go from the left side at all last night. That kind of surprised me. I expected to see it, but I don't know. Crazy, though. It is wild. Ethan, Christian Walker hit 327, 9 homers, 51 RBIs in 2010. Yeah, I mean, Ethan Petrie, again, his season, it's got to rank as one of the best seasons from a freshman in school history, no doubt. Guys, let's go ahead and jump into our first break. Excuse me. On the side, I want to continue to hear from you more. Your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. The phone lines are open here on this Friday. TGIF. And again, appreciate you all tuning in. As you all know, I'm a big fan of collegefootballnews.com. They just dropped their, so apparently this is something they do yearly. I've never seen this before. SEC college football and basketball combination rankings, hoops and helmets 2023. What SEC schools had the most fun in college football and basketball from fall of 22 through the spring of 23. So basically they combine football and basketball. Two caveats: football is bigger than basketball, more weight is placed on the helmet side. Hello, Georgia. And two, championships matter. Some schools are ranked higher because of a dominant year in one sport, making up for the problems with the other. So they got Bama 1, which makes sense. Tennessee 2, Georgia 3, Arkansas 4, Mississippi State 5, Kentucky 6, Mizzou 7, A&M 8, Auburn 9, LSU 10, Vandy 11, South Carolina 12th, Ole Miss 13th, and Florida 14th. And you look at the Gamecocks, 8-5, 4-4 in SEC play. In football and in basketball, of course, 11-21 and 4-14 in the SEC. That certainly drags down our ranking. That certainly drags down the ranking, no doubt. No doubt. Let's see. Mock draft, the second round of the NFL draft. Let's see if they've got. They have Cam Smith going. Is this first round or second round? Let's see. I think they've got him going in the first round. 23rd overall to, or excuse me, 23rd overall to the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. John Gibbs may have said something earlier. What is happening with Will Sanders just getting here today? Will Sanders is not pitching this weekend, John, or he did not start last night. And Kingston spoke on it, saying that they were giving him a mental and a physical reset. A mental and a physical reset. So there you go. That is what's going on. I will say this too. I saw this headline from Barstool Sports, and I just feel the need to echo it. The day off after opening day, got to be the silliest thing in sports, man. I just don't get it at all. I don't understand why it's a thing. Like, people wait for so long for the MLB season to return. Like, why take the day off? I don't get it. Brennan M., we should be higher than 12th. We recognize Dawn Staley's squad as our basketball team. Well, unfortunately, Brendan, that poll only included men's basketball. So there you go. It only included men's basketball. So, and I agree with you. I agree with you that we recognize women's basketball as our basketball team. That's it. Bottom line. Austin Greer, that Mississippi State ace was legit. Yeah, he was good. Ambidextrous too, Austin. That's pretty good, right? You can throw 96 from the right side, like 92, 93 from the left side. That's pretty damn good. B. Hughes, they should move Bradley to short. Women are second. What do you think? They're not going to. Hughes, from what I've heard, talking to people behind the scenes, they don't love Braswell's range. That is the whole reason why Braylon Wimmer was moved to shortstop. That's one of the reasons, at least, he was moved there. So they don't love Brad. And I think it's, as much as I like Braswell, I can admit Wimmer's definitely got more range than he does. There's no question. Again, they made that move, Wimmer to short. He's been practicing there basically every day throughout the fall, throughout preseason, been playing there every day. He's not coming out of that spot. Absolutely not. So, Brendan M. says, we have a men's team. Yeah, believe it or not, Brendan, I think our head coach's name is the homie Lamont. You might be familiar with him. Gamecocks 11 says strikeouts are a little concerning considering LSU is coming to town next weekend. I'll say, and I was asked Gamecocks 11 last night, like, what's this team's weakness right now? You're 25-2, 7-0 in SEC play. What's your weakness? What is South Carolina's weakness? I would say two things. Number one, you have a problem with your ace. Right? With Will Sanders and what he's going through. Number two, I'd say the strikeouts. You might strike out a little bit too much, but I think it's one of those things, and Mark Kingston's pointed out that, and it's just the nature of baseball these days, guys. Like, power numbers are up, strikeouts are up. It's all across baseball. This isn't a South Carolina thing. This isn't a college baseball thing. This is all of baseball. Power numbers are up, strikeout numbers are up. It's just part of it. So, I will say that as you go throughout the long haul of this season, cutting down on strikeouts and having as many productive at bats as possible, I think that, that will be that should be the focus, if you will, especially when you get into postseason play. You're going to be facing guys like Paul Skeens next week at LSU. You're going to be facing guys like Paul Skeens consistently. You're going to be facing the best arms that college baseball has to offer. And so you're going to have to be able to be productive. But I think this team has shown that. This team has shown the ability. It's not just the home run, right? It's not just the home run. It's not feast or famine. But the two things I would say right now, getting Will Sanders going and cutting down on strikeouts. You do those two things, I think everything else is gravy. You know what I mean? So if I'm being critical, nitpicking, I think those are the two things that this team could still most definitely improve on. Let's see. Gamecock, I think it's Gamecock Fanatic. How do you think pitching will be against North Carolina on Tuesday to start the series on Thursday against LSU? I think they'll probably go Sam Simpson again. I think you'll see a Johnny Holstaff type of game because obviously you don't want to burn any arms. I don't think you want to burn any quality arms for the weekend. That LSU series is what's really important. I mean, I won't say it doesn't matter at all. You want to win the ball game, but you're certainly not going to burn your top guys just trying to win a midweek game. You know what I mean? So, which I'm sure UNC is going to do the same thing. I mean, they've got ACC play to worry about. Travi, do we think Will has the yips, Chris? Can he ever recover? I don't think he has the yips. No, Travi. No, I don't think he has the yips. If he had the yips, he couldn't even throw it to home. He couldn't even hit the catcher in the chest. So, no, I don't think Will has the yips. I just think he hadn't thrown well. Bottom line, I think I think it's as simple as that. People want an answer. They want an explanation. Oh, well, he's hurt. Oh, well, he has the yips. Oh, well, this. He just hasn't thrown well. I mean, that's just bottom line. Like, baseball's a tough game, and sometimes it's just hard. I mean, sometimes you just go cold and you're not throwing well. You know what I mean? So there's no explanation. There's no rhyme or reason. He just hasn't thrown well. Bottom line, I don't think he has the yips or he's hurt. Just hasn't thrown well. That's it. Let's see. Breaking, appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for the love, my friend. Thank you. Mary Yard 26. What are the odds of Clark letting it fly on their first possession if we don't lady up her at half court? Lady up her. That's a really interesting way to put it. What are the odds of Clark letting it fly? I mean, are you just saying like her shooting? Like yeah, Clark's going to shoot all night, my guy. Clark will shoot all night. She's averaging 27 a game. The game plan for them should be to shoot a lot. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think they will definitely shoot. She will definitely shoot. I mean, Austin Greer, do people even know what the yips are? We overuse the hell out of that word. It's a legit injury caused by wrist spasms. I'll be honest with you, Austin. I didn't know that. I didn't know the yips was an injury. I think of like the yips, like the putting yips or throwing it back yips is just like a complete mental mind. But I did not know it was an actual injury. I didn't know that. Gamecock Fanatic score prediction tonight for the women's game and baseball. Women's game, I'll go 82-70 South Carolina. Baseball game, I'll go 12-4 Yardcocks. I think Mississippi State's washed, bro. I think we'll swing it well, and yeah, I think yeah. I think State's going to be washed. Anyways, guys, would love to hear from you. 843-790-3377. Let me get to this. Posted this. Let's see. Let me first get to your questions. Marion R26 said, man up, but it's ladies. I hear you. Okay, that's fair. Posted this in the Discord. And it's something that it was posted a while ago, but I think is really interesting. The returning production for this 2023 football season, and I think it was Bill O'Connell, I think that's his name. He was the one that did all this math and posted it out there, and some other sites had posted it as well. But I just think it's really interesting. And no, it's not a direct correlation. Well, you have the most returning production. You're going to be the best team in the SEC. You have the least returning production. You're going to be the worst, whatever. But I think it does give you an idea. And I don't think anybody would disagree that returning production is important. Would anybody disagree with that? Returning production is still really important. The Gamecocks rank 11th in the SEC in returning production at just 55%. 63% of your offensive production returns from last year, and just 48% of your defensive production returns. How about this? Alabama is dead last. 40% of their production returns. They lose a ton from that team last year. So, whatever that means, right? So, to some of you, it'll mean nothing. It's just one of those intriguing things, I think, to talk about during the offseason. Right? It's just one of those interesting things to talk about. James Kendall, I get the yips when TSUS comes to Somerville. Don't we all? No, James, the Gamecocks get the yips when TSUS comes to Somerville. That's a fact at this point. Lynn Turner says, Clark will have a lady Gamecock in her hip pocket all night long. Play her physical and wear her out physically and mentally. Austin Greer makes a good point. Bama's always last. Yeah, that's because they have guys going to the draft every single year. The good news is they're reloading guys with, you replace that production that you lose with the next group of draft picks. I mean, that's literally what happens at Alabama. So, yeah, they lose guys because nobody stays there 4 years. Everybody's leaving, dipping out early. I mean, because they're really good. So, it is what it is. Anyways, guys, let's see here. Let's see. How about Live Golf? I just got a notification on my phone. Live Golf is live in Orlando for day one of their tournament. How about it? Is anybody watching Live Golf? Anybody watching that? Travis says, are the yips a mental health issue? Yips have both mental and physical causes. Yips appear to be linked to muscle overuse. However, performance anxiety and overthinking can worsen physical symptoms like muscle spasms or twitching. Very good. Oh my God. Brewer Nation, Chris, question for you. I posted this on Twitter. Brewer Nation, I'm curious. Did you post it as a poll first thing? Let me go pull up your Twitter here. Let's see. Let me pull up your Twitter. 7 minutes ago, you just posted it. Who was the better quarterback at South Carolina? Brandon McElwain, Ryan Hilinski, or Colin Hill? What a poll. It's funny that, you know what, there's some things in life that people will never accept, right? No matter what, no matter how much you try to reason, there's some things in life that people will never accept. For example, Colin Hill won the job because he was a better quarterback than Ryan Hilinski. That's something people will never accept. But I can't tell you the amount of people I've talked to behind the scenes. Hell, when I went on that podcast, the Agoji podcast, and those guys that played on the 2020 team, and they straight up told me, yeah, Colin Hill was better. They were like, dude, he had a professional build. Guy was huge, spun the shit out of the football. And Ryan Hilinski lost his job. Just flat out lost his job. But that is a fact that people will never accept. People will never accept that Ryan Hilinski just flat out lost his job in 2020. Hey, what a time, dude. And that's the funny thing, man, is like, there's trolls that say stuff on social media and that try to do this. And I'm like, dude, you can't hurt me. You can't hurt me. I literally built my business off the back of the Will Muschamp era. Life is Gucci these days. Like, we're golden. Beamer ball to the freaking moon. Baseball's rocking. We're optimistic about the homie Lamont. Dawn Staley's about to win her third national title. Life is good over this way. Life is fantastic. I can assure you. Life's great. Life is great, man. Life's great. I mean, again, there is nothing the Carolina Slapdick community can say or do to me that was more mentally frustrating than the Will Muschamp era. There's nothing you can do or say. I mean, that was, oh my God, Mark Ryan. Why is Mark cannot help himself? Oh my Lord. Mark cannot help himself. Mark Ryan tweeted, "Happy birthday, Shane Beamer. Never forget." And it was a screen, and it's a screenshot of Shane Beamer's tweet to the fan upstate about, "I normally don't respond to second-rate JV radio programs I've never heard of." Just let it die. There's some things you just gotta let die. You know what I mean? There's some things you just got to let die. Just let it die, man. Just let it. I mean, but Mark can do whatever he wants, but just let it die. Just let it die. You know, Mark makes me laugh though, bro. I genuinely don't get the people that take everything on social media so personally. Like, bro, I just laugh. I think it's hilarious. I think it's hysterical, truly. I think it's absolutely hysterical. Ruination says, starting a Gamecock podcast during the Will Muschamp years was like trying to date your wife's sister after you just got out of jail for beating her ass. That was a roller coaster of a comment right there, Bruin. I don't even know what I'm speechless. I'm very, very few times am I speechless after reading a comment, but I'm speechless after reading that one. Goodness gracious. Sure. Sure. Josh says, I've watched about 20 Iowa games this season. Josh, you watch a lot of women's basketball, my guy. He says, I've watched 20 Iowa games this season. The only way this game is close if South Carolina tries to match 3 for 3. And I don't think they will. I think the Gamecocks will play their game, and we'll have a great plan ready for Caitlin Clark. We will. I'm excited to see the matchup. I really am. I'm excited to see the matchup, and like, this is the one matchup that I really feel like I'm looking at it with a very curious eye. I think the Gamecocks will win, no doubt, but it is an interesting matchup. It's a very interesting matchup for sure. It's a very interesting matchup for sure. I can't believe Mark just can't leave it alone, though, man. I just, that's so funny. Perform with the Carolina Band for the Garnet and Black Spring Game. Deadline to register is April 1st. Free and open to all high school sophomores, juniors, and seniors. How about that? I might tell my brother to do it. I might get my brother on it. Let's see. I'm sure, God, I'm sure the replies to this are going to be just electric. He posted it 2 hours ago. Okay. Yeah, happy birthday, by the way, to Coach Shane Beamer. It is Shane Beamer's birthday, so happy birthday to Shane. I think we're going to throw up a post here shortly. I just haven't done so yet, but happy birthday to Coach Beamer. Happy birthday. Again, guys, in case you missed it, 6 years ago to the date. That's crazy, man. 6 years ago to the date. Episode number 1 of TSUS was released. We are now on 771 episodes. My brother, no, I was talking about Matthew, Steven. The Gamecock, the Carolina Band, shout out the band homies, by the way. They are allowing people to apply, sophomores, juniors, and seniors in high school, apply to perform with the band at the spring game. So, pretty cool stuff. And yes, Brandon, you're welcome for the free ads. But no, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Ethan said, Bruin Nation says, tell Mark to unblock me so I can read the comments. Bruin Nation, we gotta get you unblocked, my guy. Maybe next time Mark's on, I'll get you unblocked. Ethan says McElwain had the legs, Hilinski had the arm, and Colin Hill had the hair. Yeah, what a trifecta. The Holy Trinity, eh? The Holy Trinity. Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, man. I thought Ryan Hilinski was going to be the guy. I really did. What the Muschamp, Hilinski, Roper, McClendon, like these names, you know what I mean? I'll tell you this. This brings me to this point. Like, there are so many great Gamecocks that will, forgotten's too strong of a word. But do we feel like the Muschamp era Gamecocks are celebrated the same way as all other Gamecocks are? Like, I almost feel like there's like this dark mark, this black mark or whatever, like this just negative emotion that comes up. Like, even when I see a guy like Deebo Samuel, it just like, because nobody wants to be reminded of the Muschamp era. Like, nobody. Like, fans have put 2016 to 2020, we've put that so far out of our minds. So far. Like, it's like trauma that you just bury. Like, deep. I mean, to the deepest depths that it will go. And I equate it, and I've used this example before. It's like, and to carry on Joyner's one, but I think Dak Joyner's become a Shane Beamer Gamecock. Does that make sense? I think he has. I really think he has. Especially when you think about that Dak Joyner's best moments, I would argue, have come under Shane Beamer. No doubt. But it's almost, it's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate and damn near unfair because, you know, again, I've equated it this way. Like, how many man caves have you been to, or how many places have you been to and seen a signed Jake Bentley football? How many man caves have you seen like a signed J.C. Horn memorabilia? A signed Israel Makwamu piece of memorabilia? I think Deebo Samuel is the celebrated player from the Muschamp era, but like, really, guys, outside of that, like, even Brian Edwards is sort of, I mean, do people talk about Brian Edwards anymore? Is Brian Edwards kind of like a you know, I'm not doing this to throw shade on these guys at all. I just think it's a reality. I think because people try to put the Muschamp era like so far out of their brain that these great players from that era, they're just unfortunately forgotten. I think they're just unfortunately forgotten. So, you know, and I'll tell you this too, to the point in the comments. I mean, when you have players throwing shade on Gamecock fans, I mean, to hell with them. I mean, to some of them, to hell with them, you know? Just flat out. I mean, I understand the university, they feel the need to, and I'm not saying, Austin, that Brian Edwards is forgotten. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, do you feel like these guys are celebrated the way some of the greatest Gamecocks are? Like, I just don't hear anybody talk about Brian Edwards anymore for whatever reason. I mean, granted, why would you just bring up his name randomly? But, you know. Anyways, no, I'm not saying Brian Edwards is forgotten, but I haven't heard his name in a hot minute. That's all I'm saying. Haven't heard his name. You hear Deebo a lot more than Brian Edwards, but I guess it has to do with the fact that Deebo is one of the best players in the NFL. I guess that's got to do with it. But no, anyways, it's just interesting. It's just kind of interesting, to be honest with you. It's just interesting. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Anyways, guys, again, 843-790-3377. I'm like almost curious now. Like, can you buy like Jake Bentley? You can buy a Jake Bentley framed signed picture. You can buy a signed Jake Bentley picture for $9. Bro, you can buy a signed Jake Bentley mini helmet for $50. This one's $150 right here. Okay, Jake Bentley autographed football, $120. So a little bit more expensive. It's just really, dude. You can buy a Jake Bentley autographed Utah helmet for $80. It's just really interesting. It's just really interesting, dude. Let's see. Does Jake Bentley have any? I don't think he's got any cards out there. I don't think Jake Bentley does have any cards out there. I don't know. Let's see. Brewer Nation, Beamer keeps making comments about the attitude and tone in the program now compared to the day he took over. There's a reason why. It must have been awful. Oh, it was terrible. Toxic, terrible. Yeah. I mean, there's been plenty of former players that have spoke on that. Josh posting $8 is too much. God. Brewer Nation, $9 is about what the program was worth during those years. Will Korb says, put some respect on Bentley's name. Travis says, anyone ever seen their Kinlaw give that reporter hell in San Francisco? What an asshole Kinlaw is. That was a wild video. That was a wild video. I mean, again, the Muschamp era was a wild time to be a Gamecock. It really was. I mean, it really, really was, man. And so, again, I look back at those days and the content we were producing, and I am just so happy to be where we are now. I mean, I know we all are, right? As Gamecock fans, it's just much more fun to follow the Gamecocks, and we feel so much more optimistic about the program. And I mean, just how blessed are we to have Shane Beaver as our head coach? I mean, really, truly, like we have great perspective. We have great perspective. I mean, Gamecock fans have got more perspective than like anybody. You know what I mean? Like we've seen the worst, and now with Shane Beamer, like it just like you can almost equate it to like when you're in a terrible relationship and then you get somebody that treats you right. You know what I mean? It's like God, what a breath of fresh air this is. You know what I mean? So it's incredible. It's incredible. Let's see, guys. Big game tonight. Big night in general. Final four for the women's basketball team taking on Iowa at 9:00. And then, of course, baseball is back in action at 7:00 against Mississippi State. Guys, we will be out tonight. Watch party for the women's basketball game. Carolina Ale House, Woodruff Road, another event in the upstate. Really looking forward to it, guys. I will also have my laptop on hand with the baseball game on. So do not fear if you're trying to watch the baseball game as well. I will have that on hand to be having that pulled up. So no worries there, because definitely want to watch the Gamecocks clinch the series tonight in Starkville. Should be a good time. Should be a lot of fun. And I feel confident the Gamecocks will get the job done. Guys, let's go ahead and jump into another break. On this side, I want to continue to hear from you. More your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking the questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Friday, March the 31st, the final day in the month of March. Crazy. Yeah, Will, the baseball and basketball game should not overlap too much. Obviously, basketball will go later into the night. A 7 o'clock first pitch for baseball, 9 o'clock or maybe even 9:30 tip-off for women's basketball. I know on their Twitter account they had 9 o'clock. When you go to GamecocksOnline.com, it says 9:30. So I think it's just they're going to follow up the first game. So that first game starts at 7. We'll see. It'll probably be like 9:15. We'll just say that. Somewhere in the middle. I'll be at Carolina Ale House around 8:30 or so. Going to be a good time, guys. Again, looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun. Carolina Ale House, Woodruff Road. Come on out. We're going to have a blast. Let's see. Austin Greer says Veach is criminally underrated. He's a good player. Yeah, fantastic player. Austin Greer, I'm glad you bring his name up. What he's done for Carolina out of the bullpen, he has been fantastic, no doubt. He's been fantastic, no doubt. Glad you bring his name up, my friend. Lynn Turner basketball won't start until an hour after the end of the early game. Is it an hour? I thought it was like 30 minutes. Okay, an hour. All right. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. At the risk of Austin Greer giving me hell for changing the conversation from anything else to football, I thought it was really interesting. I have my friend, again, Braden Gall on the show. Would love to hear you guys' feedback, your thoughts on that interview, that conversation we had with him. I had a great time chatting with him. I had a great time. He mentioned this because we talked about record. He's got the Gamecocks at 7-5 this year. He says 8-4 equals a happy Gamecock. 6-6 equals an angry Gamecock. What does 7-5 do for Carolina fans? I'd love your thoughts. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie Davis, what's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing on this last day of March?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Okay, to the whole Muschamp and Beamer thing. Okay, I look at it this way. Okay, the Muschamp era is kind of like going out with a girl so she'll stop nagging you about going out with you. Okay. And in the Shane Beamer era is like you find, like you said, you find the right girl. She's perfect. She laughs at all your stupid jokes, and everything is just peachy.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. You go from a terrible toxic relationship to a great one. Yeah, and you could tell that was the case because I think early on the Beamer era, it's almost like we forgot how to be loved. You know what I mean? We had fans struggling with,
Right.
kind of some of that PTSD from the Muschamp era, from the last relationship you were in. It was like, hey, it's okay. Don't hold those transgressions. Don't
Right.
hold Beamer guilty for things that somebody else did. And I think we're starting to learn to love again. We're starting to learn to love and be loved. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, it really is. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you, Shane Beamer. Thank you for that.
And don't get me wrong. I love going to games. I love going to Carolina games. I love it. But that was probably some of the most difficult years as far as going to Carolina games I've ever had in the Muschamp era.
I didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy going to games in 2020. I ain't gonna bullshit you. I didn't. I enjoyed it from the sense of like I was getting to do it full time for a living. I did not enjoy watching us play. I will never forget the Ole Miss game in 2020. It was at Ole Miss, but I'll never forget. It was the least game day feeling game day ever, and that's when you've reached the point that like you have to fire your coach because. I don't even think people were excited to watch South Carolina football anymore. No, people weren't even looking forward to games anymore. People were looking for anything else to do. And when you reach that point, you have to pull the plug. You just simply don't have a choice.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that definitely right now we are in a good a good relationship with our head coach, because one, he's not from anywhere else, not really. He was an assistant here.
Mhm.
He wants to be here, and he wants to prove that we can. Like I've always said, he wants to prove that, hey, you can win games and win championships here. It's just going to take a second, okay? I mean, we play in the toughest conference in college football, so no duh, it's going to be tough, okay? Sorry, Clemson fans, to burst your stupid little bubble, but the ACC is trash, okay? It's garbage, hot, stinky, good for nothing, garbage that needs to be thrown out with everything else that is orange and purple, okay? But we are in the toughest conference in college football, period. And just the fact that we went 8-4 this past season was absolutely a success. Okay. Do I think at some point we'll get to where we're competing for a conference title? Yes, I do believe that wholeheartedly. But it's going to take some time, because Georgia right now is on a whole nother level than everyone else. Alabama is somewhat still there, I guess. And then there's everyone else in the SEC. So we'll just have to see how it goes this year, and if we somehow get 8-4. Dadgummit, I'll take it. I don't give a rat's patoot, okay? I don't give a rat's butt, okay?
A
How the
rat's
season goes.
patoot.
But if we somehow, I don't give a patoot. I made up a new word just for the hell of it, okay? I don't give a patoot.
That's
If we somehow go 8-4,
that's a Roebuckism if I ever heard one.
I definitely think if we go 8-4 this season with all the pieces that we've lost, the season is an absolute success, and we just got to somehow make 8-4 the norm, because if we somehow make 8-4 the norm, you can recruit off of that, because you're winning consistently and you're getting to bowl games and competing in bowl games consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely believe that Shane Beamer is the guy. Okay, he is the dude. Okay, he's the head honcho. He's gonna do whatever he needs to do to get it done.
I'm starting a slow clap for you, Robbie. Good job. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. You got me fired up here. You got me fired up, man. You got me fired up, no doubt.
And
somebody nicknamed you, by the way. Somebody nicknamed you Mr. I Don't Give a Hoot, and I almost fell out of my chair. So I love that. That's a great nickname for you, Mr. I Don't Give a Hoot.
And I still stand by what I said the other day about the Iowa game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
If we can somehow make everyone else beat us besides Caitlin Clark, I think we run away with it. To be honest with you, I think we put the hammer down and give Iowa the butt whooping that they've been needing, or we might just give them a butt whooping just for the heck of it. Okay, I don't give a hoot. Okay, I don't care. But if we can keep her as quiet as possible for 4 quarters, especially with the way we've been playing in the third quarter, I don't see where Iowa can beat us, to be honest with you.
Well, Robbie, the Gamecocks are I will give you an updated spread here in 2 seconds. They are a favorite in the game. I'll just say that. So definitely, I think we should all expect to win. Gamecocks are 11.5 point favorite. So some money, I think the money has come in on South Carolina, because I think they opened at 11. So what's really cool too is we get to see LSU Va Tech before we play. So the Gamecocks will know what is awaiting them when they step on the floor tonight. So,
right.
Anyways,
sure.
yeah, no, I feel
And
I feel very confident. I mean, I just,
yeah,
it's South Carolina's the favorite. Yeah, South Carolina's the favorite. So I think we will prove them right, and I think we'll get the dub, and I think we'll play in the national title on Sunday.
for sure. The women's tournament has flown by, man. Good gracious. Both of them, actually. Both of the tournaments have flown by. It feels like it's crazy how fast it's gone by already. The women's Final Four is tonight. I think the men's Final Four is coming up here shortly, I think. But, yeesh. It's crazy how fast the tournament flies by.
Time flies when you're having fun, Robbie. Time flies when you're having fun indeed.
That is a fact. Whenever you are having fun, time just disappears, and you don't know where it goes, but you know it went somewhere.
Indeed.
But and I was almost correct on the baseball score last night.
Yeah, you were.
Because I was almost correct because my prediction was 6-3, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you were spot on, man.
I was 1 point off of being correct. Anyways, and we got what 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, is the spring game, so I'm excited.
2 weeks from tomorrow is indeed the spring game. You are correct.
So I am very excited for 2 reasons. One, I'm going to get to go to the spring game. 2, I'm going to get me some Duke's barbecue before I go to said bowl game.
God bless it. God bless it. Nothing better than some good barbecue, my friend.
That is a fact. And if you want some good barbecue, head to Orangeburg. I'm telling you, it's the best barbecue you'll ever have, at least in my opinion. But if you ever do get to have it, I want your honest opinion. Don't sugarcoat it just because I would be there. Just tell me the truth and be honest about it. Because I grew up on it, so to me it's good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. Go Gamecocks! Beat Iowa and beat Mississippi State. Doggone it! Take care of business in both of them. Prove a point in both of them.
I love it. Robbie, well said, my friend. I appreciate you.
You too, buddy. Safe travels.
Yeah, man. You too. Take care. Great stuff from Robbie Davis. And yeah, really excited for the weekend. All the games taking place. Duke's Barbecue. Austin Greer says, do y'all put slaw on your barbecue sandwiches? I do not. You know what, though? I'll say this. I used to hate coleslaw. I've come around on it. I have. I used to I wouldn't touch it. My dad loves coleslaw. I've come around on coleslaw, though. I have. I'm certainly not seeking it out. But if I'm hungry enough, I will indulge in it. I've never had, believe it or not, a barbecue sandwich with coleslaw on it. I've never had that. So I couldn't tell you, Austin, from firsthand experience whether it's good or not. I need to broaden my horizons, I guess, a little bit. I guess I need to broaden my horizons just a touch. 843-790-3377, guys. Yes, a lot of people saying yes to slaw on the sandwich. Some people saying no. It's whatever your personal preference is. But, I mean, what do y'all think? What's better? There's some people that get very passionate in arguments regarding barbecue. For some people, that is a huge deal. I've joked before. If you think Gamecock Twitter's bad, Food Twitter is another level. I mean, it really is. Food Twitter can get very, very interesting. It's very interesting. Yep. Food Twitter gets very, very interesting. So Let's see. Gamecock Fanatic, bad weather, Mississippi. Looks like baseball is going to get delayed. I took a look, Gamecock Fanatic. Unless something's changed, I took a look this morning. I think we should be fine in Starkville. I don't think baseball will get moved. Just taking a look, Starkville, Mississippi. Let's take a look at the weather now. I could be wrong. It's less than, it's 10% or less up until 8 o'clock. Then it's 20%, 35% at 9 o'clock, 51% at 10 o'clock, 64% at 11 o'clock, 66% at midnight. So, I mean, if anything, they'd move the game up an hour or two, but I think they'll be able to get the game in no problem. I'd be surprised if they don't get it in. I wouldn't think the game will be moved at all. I don't know. Ruination, mustard versus red pepper and vinegar versus sweet and sticky. It always brings the drama. Yeah, I just like barbecue, Ruination. Like, I think I'm good with any. I don't know. I don't really like. I've never had bad barbecue. I'll be honest with you. Palmetto Pig. That was my spot in Columbia. I have not found a good barbecue spot in Greenville. If anybody's got any suggestions, let me know. I have not. Palmetto Pig was my spot in Cola, man. That was a guaranteed. That was a guaranteed food coma nap following indulging in the food there. That for sure, because it was so damn good. And you'd eat so much of it. So our friend Mark Ryan is making headlines again with the happy birthday wishes to Shane Bieber. I will say this, though. I want to bring up this this piece of content and something that Mark Ryan brought up. Maybe this is something more so for the offseason, but I don't care. We can stew over this now, and maybe we'll talk about it again in the offseason. But he brought up a great question to me in regards to losses for your team, and what is your process for getting over losses? And are there any losses for you as a Gamecock fan that still linger to this day? Like, what's the most painful loss you've ever experienced? And are there any losses that, like, you think about every now and then still to this day that bother you? For me, I would probably say the most painful loss or losses that I can think of, 2006 Florida, when Moss blocked the field goal at the end of the game. That was probably the last time I cried over a South Carolina football game, which I know sounds silly, but I was a 15-year-old kid. That was the last time I probably cried over a Carolina football game. So that one stands out. The 2013 Tennessee game, I mean, that's got to be up there. That one was brutal. I will say 2011 Auburn, which was Steven Garcia's last game, that was a brutal L. Brutal L. Outside of that, I don't know if there's really any I struggle to get over that are like so utterly painful. You know, a lot of the losses in the Will Muschamp era were kind of, you could see it coming. They weren't really unexpected, unfortunately. Trying to think, have we really had like a bad loss in the Beamer era that was like still haunts us to this day? I don't know that we have. I mean, that 30-0 loss to Clem Sucks was brutal. That was one of the more brutal nights I've ever had in Willie B. But I felt like we kind of rectified. We kind of took care of some of those demons this past season. But we haven't had a ton of those, thank goodness. We haven't had any like really like excruciating losses. Here's the thing. It feels like in the Beamer era when we've lost, like we've gotten killed. We've either gotten blown out or won. There haven't been a ton of losses. I will say last year, again, the Florida loss was like comical, right? It was comical. That Mizzou loss was painful. That was painful. So maybe that's one that you kind of look at and you say, man, like, I mean, we had it right there. We had it right there, man. It was in our grasp and just flat out dropped the ball. So I ask you, what's the most painful Gamecocks loss you've experienced? How do you get over it? Are there any that still linger that you think about and can't seem to get over? I think it's a very funny conversation because You know, we love to talk about the victories and the wins and stuff, but boy, there have been there have been some excruciating losses over the years for sure. John Gibbs says, I was in Death Valley for the 56-7 and stayed about 4 minutes left in the fourth. That one still haunts me, and I'm waiting for the day for us to repay the favor. Run that shit up this year, Willie B. Shulin says, Navy 84. We would have gone to the national title we won. See, I think the older Gamecock fans are going to say Navy 84, right? They're going to say Navy 84. I ask if we got any of the older Gamecock fans in here. Is that one? Did anybody even remotely see that coming? Because I don't know that was in the era people were gambling on games like Vegas. Like, was there a spread? Like, did anybody see that coming, or was that totally just blindsided by, like, how in the world did we lose to Navy? Like, I mean, I would assume it was an abrupt, couldn't believe it type of L, but that's just crazy, dude. That's crazy. Austin Greer says, my dad was 12 and still talks about that Navy game. Golly. Yeah, I think for the older Gamecocks, that 84 Navy game was brutal. That was a brutal ball game. That was a brutal ball game. Jackson Gary, how about this one? Appalachian State 2019. Yeah, Jackson, I'll never forget that one in the podcast. For my prediction in the game, I said that South Carolina was the bigger, more physical team, and they were going to push App State around. And I don't know that I necessarily picked a blowout, but I really thought that the Gamecocks had the advantage in the trenches. And boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Robbie Davis said the Citadel game back in 2015. That's a good one, too. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Greg Bettinger.
Greg, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, you're all you got me to call in today. I had to talk about that 84 Navy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were. Yes, sir. I had been the week before we beat Florida State at Willie B. It was electric. 84. That was national TV, ABC, and the next week we just knew that put us up to number 2 in the country, and Nebraska. And we went to Annapolis and got boat raced. I mean, it wasn't even close after the halftime. It sucked. It was terrible. We didn't see it coming. We thought for sure we were going to play Clemson to go to the Orange Bowl.
Yeah,
I sent a few more.
Yeah, I'm reading your comment right now. I don't know also if you've ever heard the conversation that I had with Del Wilkes on the podcast. I know you know who that name is. And the late, great Del Wilkes, by the way, passed away a couple of years ago now, I think. But I had Del Wilkes on the podcast, and we talked about that Navy game. And, like, you could just hear it in his voice that it still bothered him. Right. You know what I mean? Just crazy.
For sure.
Yeah,
we actually scored I think we scored a couple late TD to make it look closer than it was. But Del Wilkes, of course, All-American, incredible lineman. And,
I think he's one of like 3 Gamecocks. I think he's one of like a handful of Gamecocks that was a consensus All-American. I think there's only three
You're
players
right.
that have done that. Him, Clowney, and one other. I forget.
James Seawright.
Oh, Seawright. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Only 3 Gamecocks in history.
Yes, sir. That's right. And both of those were on the same team in 84. And
crazy.
But that 80 loss to Clemson, I mentioned that. I was a kid and I was hanging out with my Clemson buddy. And he didn't go to the game. They were diehard Clemson fans. And he didn't go because he just knew we were going to beat them. And I was 11 years old, and he got to rub it in my face all day. But when I was a junior at Carolina, we lost 48-0 to Clemson. That was 48-0 at Williams-Brice. That was Sparky Woods. Anyway. Well, hey, just had to call in with those stories, and I had forgotten about a couple of them you mentioned, but yeah.
Yeah, I replied to you in the Discord, by the way. The push-off game was 2000, by the way. 2003 was 63-17, which was also a very painful L. A very painful L. So I'll throw another one. The push-off was 2000 at their place, Rod Gardner.
Yeah, and they won by a field goal.
Yes,
right?
Yes. They kicked the field goal to win it. Yeah. Yep. The push off was to set them up, put them in field goal range. They kicked the game winner. By the way, I'll add another one while you're on the line. For me, the first time I ever shed tears over a Carolina football game, 2004 Georgia. Anybody who recalls that, Gamecocks were up 16-0. We wore all black. It was Dondrell Pinkins, Troy Williamson, Coach Simpson had a pick six. That was David Green for them, and they came back and beat the Gamecocks 20-16 in that game. But it was Carolina had it up 16-0 and just kind of fell apart.
I guess I got over that one.
Yeah.
I guess I got over that one, Chris.
Yeah.
I can't bring that one to memory, but I've been we've been going to games since '79 when I was 10 years old. Saw a lot of good football though.
Yeah.
Those years.
Yeah. There's a lot of good ones mixed in there.
Beating Georgia in '84 was electric. The '84 Georgia win. I'll never forget. I was in the ramps and we stopped them at the goal line right before halftime, goal line stand. And then Florida State was just incredible when we beat them. Mm-hmm. And anyway, hey man, thanks for letting me share some of those old memories.
Yeah, Greg, of course. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for the call.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah,
Bye.
man, you too. Great stuff. Great stuff there for Greg Benjamin. Awesome. Guys, we'll jump into one final break. On the other side, I want to continue to hear from you more, your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so in the Daily Crow, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3337 here on this Friday, the final day of March 31st, 2023. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Robbie Davis chimed in, by the way, his most painful loss, the Citadel game, 2015. That's one, though, again, that the season felt so lost at that point that, like, it didn't shock me. Unfortunately, it didn't shock me. Robbie also says, I've never really liked coleslaw. I've tried it, plus the smell of it being made at Zaxby's really made me hate it. A.K.A. Zaxby's Hall of Famer. Go Gamecocks. Let's see. I'm trying to find this specific clip of Shane Beamer. You know, it's crazy looking back. It's crazy looking back at the content from last football season. It really is. And like how, I don't know, just how down and out and despondent we were in the last 2 weeks just changed everything. I don't know. Absolutely crazy. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Friday. Yes, thank you, Blind Squirrel. Smash the like button indeed. Again, guys, quick reminder, we are at Carolina Ale House, Woodruff Road tonight for the women's basketball game. Gamecocks taking on Iowa. 9 o'clock tip-off is what's scheduled. I'll be out there around 8:15, 8:30, guys. Going to have my laptop on hand watching the baseball game, which I keep seeing people comment about the weather. I don't know if I've got the wrong startable punched in, but, I mean, the weather looks fine until about 9 o'clock. So unless it's a extra innings game, I think we should be good. I think we should be good. I think we should be good, guys. So I don't know. And I think also, by the way, you got to remember, the game starts at 7 Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. So, like, we're going to be fine, I think, right? We're going to be fine. I don't think there'll be any problems with the game tonight. Jacob E says the Tennessee game from this past year just felt so good as a fan. I mean, but and you're right, Jacob E. I mean, you're absolutely right. But it's just crazy to think about. It's just crazy to think about the kind of the roller coaster that was. I mean, who can, guys, we don't even talk about it now, but like, who can forget from the football season? Remember the Find Some Joy comments? Remember that? Remember the Find Some Joy thing? And then yours truly went on record and did the unthinkable and said that, hey, Shane Beamer missed the mark on the Find Some Joy. I said what I said in season, right? It's, again, that just reminds me of, like, dude, the chaos during football season. It's great for content, but my God, the chaos during football season, the chaos. It is a wild thing, man. Football season is an animal. So Austin Greer says, dog, it's supposed to rain from 5 to 3. Austin, again, then we must be looking at different weather forecasts, because I'm looking right here on weather.com at Starkville, Mississippi. 5 o'clock, 6% chance of rain. 6 o'clock, 6% chance of rain. 7 o'clock, 11% chance of rain. 8 o'clock, 24% chance of rain. So, my dog, I don't know what weather app you're looking at, but the Weather Channel themselves disagrees with you. So, I don't know what to tell you. Austin, I don't need to check my phone app. I got weatherchannel.com pulled up on the Mac, my guy. I mean, unless my Mac is broken. But I think tonight it's going to get bad. So, well, I don't see any reason why they could not move the game up. Why not? Let's play it early. Let's play at 4:00. Let's play at 3:00. Why not? Dude, I'd love for the game to get moved up. Then we can have baseball and then basketball just completely separate. I'd love to see it moved up. By the way, guys, big announcement coming later today. Blake Franks, offensive lineman, he is now committing at 6:30 tonight. 6:30. So I would assume the Gamecocks will be getting some good news. Some good news tonight around 6:30 or so. Should be another big pickup on the Gamecocks offensive line as Shane Beamer continues his torrid pace on the recruiting trail. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to post happy birthday, Shane Beamer, with the Find Some Joy clip. There's no question. There's no question. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. Find some joy. Find some joy. Find some joy, Slapdick. That's like Brennan M's favorite clip of me. Pipe down, Slapdick. Find some joy, Slapdick. That's your favorite. That's just response to everything. I'm like, but we play, but this team's good. Find some joy. Find some joy. I love it. I mean, I love Beamer. It's funny. Like you have to be able to laugh at yourself. That was, looking back, it is funny. It is funny. And for those who can't laugh, I really feel bad for you. I really feel bad for you. Anyways. Brendan M says, Chris Phillips needs to find some joy when I say we won the women's basketball natty in 2020. But we didn't, Brendan. We didn't, Brendan. Jaden Davis committed to Michigan. Did he really? Is Jaden Davis? Is Jaden? Is Jaden Davis the kid that was at where was he at? Isn't he a South Carolina guy? No, Charlotte. Okay. Charlotte, Providence Day School. Okay. Who's the kid at Chapin again? Who is that? Who's the kid at Chapin? Somebody remind me. Ruben Nation says that Find Some Joy comment was hard to hear with Satterfield looking like ass warts every week. Wild time. Dude, it is funny. It is. It just, Jaden, is it Jaden Bradford? Is that his name? It's the same name, right? Same first name. Bradford. Okay. Because I think we're in his top, I could be wrong. Aren't we in his top schools or whatever? Or is it Jalen Bradford? I don't even know, bro. I got no clue. Jaden Brad. He's at IMG now. Okay. Oh, he follows us. God, I feel bad for that now. 4-star quarterback. What is his? Did we make a top list for him? Did he make a top list? I think he made a top list, right? I thought he made a top. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. We made his top 4. Yeah. NC State, Carolina, Penn State, and Louisville. I mean, do we need another quarterback? I mean, I hate to say that, but like, do we need another quarterback? I mean, we'll take him. I don't know. Anyways, guys, we've hit 2:00. Hey, what a day. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much, guys. Again, come on out tonight. Carolina Ale House, Woodruff Road. What a fantastic week, man. Another successful week in the books. And I want to say thank y'all again, man, because you guys keep it coming with the banter, the content, everything. You know, the calls are incredible, the comments. And it makes these shows in these weeks, just makes them fly by, man. So I can't say thank you enough. Thank you guys for always bringing the heat, the beauties, and the banter for sure. And that's why I love doing this show and love chatting with you guys and conversating and getting after it. And again, thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for your continued love and support on the Daily Crow, the podcast, the merch side of the business, social media, the events, and everything in between. So again, guys, thank you all so much. Appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great weekend. Go Cox. Beat Mississippi State. Beat Iowa. And we will see you tonight at Carolina Ale House on Woodruff Road. Y'all take care.